Welcome back. In this series, we're going to cover assemblies. And this video is going to be an overview of assemblies, what they are, and kind of how they work. So assemblies are basically multiple parts that are put together and then have rules applied to them as far as how those parts are related to each other. So if you think about everyday life, think about some examples of items that you use on a daily basis that are one thing. So, for example, a spoon, a fork, and a knife would be one thing to eat breakfast. A plate, a bowl, a cup, things like that. Um, and then if you start to think about things that you use in your life that are assemblies. So, things like your phone, your car, and then when you start talking about more complex mechanisms like a car, then you've got what we call sub-assemblies. And so sub-assemblies are assemblies of parts that are in another assembly. So the alternator for your car, the starter motor, the water pump, those are all sub-assemblies that get put into a car. So if you had to replace your alternator, let's say, you wouldn't take the alternator apart piece by piece inside the car. You would disconnect it, unbolt it, pull it out, and then put a new unit in. Or your starter motor could get repaired or whatever. Engine, transmission, all of those things. So dealing with complex items. This assembly right here is a robot. This is our 2021 first robotics robot. Um, it has constraints put on it, which are rules. We'll talk about those in a subsequent video. But basically, this has motion constraints where we can see the position of different components as we move them based on the rules that we put onto the parts. So this is obviously a very complex assembly. We're going to start off a lot more simple, but just to kind of give you an idea of what can be done. And so if we look here in our model tree, we see a lot of different sub-assemblies. This is a part, this is an assembly. And so we see a lot of different sub-assemblies that are in here, parts that are made. So different teams in a company, let's say, could work on different parts of a vehicle or a product, and then those could all be put together into the final assembly. So that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.